Hello guys, this is Mr. Mario Kart and I am back with a new video. I know it's been a while. Some of you guys may know me as King Evan 15 and I want to talk about one of my favorite shows of all time, which is Sasuke. Now recently, Sasuke has had one issue, more than any other. And it is the course has been the same for God knows how long. So, I would like to offer what would be my dream Sasuke renewal. Now, this is not taking budget into consideration. So, let's commence with stage 1. So my 1-1, this is going to be a little controversial because my 1-1 is the Silk Slider, which has been one of the most unpopular obstacles out there. However, it's not going to be the one that has been in Sasuke 38, 39, and 40. But it's going to be similar to the Sasuke 18 Rope Glider or in the ANW 7 Silk Slider, where you start from really high up and then you fly all the way down to a landing pad. However, it's not the ANW 6 Silk Slider because that thing was way too hard. So moving on to my 1-2. This is where things start to get a little interesting because I want to offer up a different kind of obstacle. That's called the circle grip. So what the circle grip entails is you have the circle slider where you grab onto the circle and you go down a track similar to the log grip where there will be a couple drops in there to kind of like shake the grip off. So my 1-3, and this will be a balance obstacle. And since you're going to have a lot of speed coming out of the circle grip, you want to go into something very fast, which is the spinning log. Not that version. This version that was like it was in Kunoichi, in this case Australian Ninja Warrior, or the ANW spinning log. So 1-4. Now this one is very interesting because this would be my Dragon Glider replacement. As much as I like the Dragon Glider, that obstacle has had a lot of problems over the past few tournaments. So I want to introduce this. This is called the Devil's Trapeze Act. So think of it this way. You have two devil swings. You jump up from a trampoline, and you grab onto the first devil swing, and you swing back and forth, and you can lâcher to the second one. Or if you're a taller competitor or have a longer wingspan, you can try reaching over to the second one. However, it is a little bit more risky, as you've seen people like Shinji Kobayashi and Makoto Nagano have done it in Sasuke tournaments where they try to reach out to the pipe slider and it slides away. So, these are obviously the steps to complete it. So, to put it more visually, so this is the wing swing from ANW, with the only exception is that little bar in the middle. That's gone. And so are these stoppers to prevent the swings from swinging. But a bit more accurately, we have the twin swing from, this is Australian Ninja Warrior. However, you jump from a trampoline onto the first one, and as soon as you touch the second one, it's going to come off of that stopper. So if you try to reach out and you miss, you're going to have to make a really long lâcher. So this can be a bit of a time waster. Now, my 1.5, this obstacle, unlike the others, is something that is staying, and that's the tackle. This obstacle actually makes the next two obstacles a lot more difficult because your legs are going to be drained. However, the double warped wall is not going to be here. Instead, my 1-6 is going to be the return of the crooked wall. This is self-explanatory if you've ever watched Sasuke 13 to 15, where you run up the wall and you try to grab a rope. And, of course, the next obstacle is right there, which 1-7 is the iconic warp wall. This is an obstacle you just can't get rid of. Maybe you could add like a foot to it, maybe 2 if you're feeling lucky. But other than that, it's just an obstacle you can't get rid of. So, 1-8, this is the final obstacle of the course, and we have the glorious return of the rope climb, where you would swing on a Tarzan rope onto a wall, and you climb up the rope to the buzzer. So, This is my stage 1. So you might be asking, Evan, what is going to be your time limit? Well, I decided my time limit is going to be 110 seconds. So just short of 2 minutes. I think that's a reasonable amount of time where you actually have to run through the course. However, there is still room for error if that arises. So now we're going to move on to stage 2. Stage 2, definitely one of my favorite stages. And we're going to make this even more of a speed stage than it has been. So my 2-1 is the Return of the Dragon Glider. However, instead of you bouncing up from a trampoline, it's kind of similar to A&W's Double Dipper, where you start out by grabbing the bar, and you swing it down, land a lache, and then you land onto a landing platform, where that dismount will be a little bit more tricky. So now 2-2. This is going to be a salmon ladder. However, the salmon ladder needs a new variant because the Nobori and Kodari have overstayed their welcome quite a bit. So I would like to introduce the salmon ladder variable. So it would be very similar to the first salmon ladder where you just go up it. However, the difference is, see it with A&W's extension ladder, the rung lengths are different, or the rung heights. So each rung height will be different. However, it doesn't increasingly get bigger. Instead, it varies. So maybe the first one might be really, really big, and the next one is very tiny. And then after you're done with that, you have 2-3, which is the Return of the Unstable Bridge. These 2 planks would definitely continue to drain the strength of anyone who crossed it. And it's not the Ghetto Bridge, which was, for those of you who don't know, the Ghetto Bridge was essentially one plank of the Unstable Bridge that was just the one held by 4 chains, which is very, very easy. I could probably do it. Now, 2-4. There's only one balance obstacle that has ever been in stage 2, and that was the balance tank. But I would like to see the return of the spin bridge. This is an obstacle I've been begging to put in the stage 2 in place of the Spider Walk, now called the Spider Run, because it is a significantly faster obstacle and definitely is something that you can't really 100% train for. That's the kind of thing with balance obstacles. But now 2-5. We're bringing back my favorite stage 2 obstacle. Give me the metal spin. Metal spin is a fan favorite obstacle, and for good reason. You jump from a platform onto the chain with a little bit of a bungee, and you swing around to the other side. Hopefully it's not A&W where you actually have where the dismount's the hardest part. And then you move on to 2-6. Come on. What else can be other than the wall lift? And by that time, you're running low on time. You want to get out of there as soon as possible. So that's my stage 2. What would be the time limit for this, you might be asking? I came up with 80 seconds, which gives, you'll spend most of your time on the first half of the course, but then once you reach the second half, you're going to only have 30 seconds left, 25, and you got to get going. It'll lead to some very exciting finishes. So now we're going on to stage 3. Stage 3 definitely needs a change in more places than one. So I'd like to start off with a replacement for the flying bar at 3-1. And I've been saying this. Why not the air surfer? If Inui wants his first obstacle to be a lache obstacle, why not this? Because it's a harder version of the flying bar. You only have one way to grip it, and landing on those little pads gives it a little bit more pressure on your arms. Now, 3-2. This is something that I haven't really seen. And I want to bring back an old obstacle, however, turn it on its head. literally. Now I like to call this the pole jungle. Think the old ancient Hariyama, but inverted. So you have to climb onto the poles, swing back and forth, and reach out to the next one. And you keep doing that until you clear. Think of it as something that might be a bit harder than something like a rope climb or even the Sidewinder. So now 3-3. You know what something Sasuke has not had? A pegboard. You'd think it would have a pegboard by now. But I want to introduce Peg Journey. So I would shape the pegboard in something like an arc, where you start at the middle and then you climb up it, and then you climb down it, and then you dismount. And now you lead over to 3-4, which is going to be the new cliffhanger variant. We've had the cliffhanger Danza, the cliffhanger Kai, the Shin cliffhanger, the ultimate cliffhanger, the crazy cliffhanger, the ultra crazy cliffhanger, and the cliffhanger dimension. So what would my 3-4 be? I would like to introduce the insane cliffhanger. So you might be asking, what does the insane cliffhanger entail? I think it will have relatively the same idea as the ultimate cliffhanger, like the same layout. But here's the difference. These three would be the same. But you'll do a 180 transfer on the end of this third ledge, crazy cliffhanger style, to a little bit of a smaller ledge that represents the third one, and then you go up to the fourth one, and then you jump down to the fifth one, and then you do another 180 transfer back, grabbing onto that same small ledge, and then going down to this last ledge, and then completing the obstacle. I feel like it combines the two best versions of the cliffhanger without the need of actual motors. What a concept, Anui. Not using motors for an obstacle. Now, 3-5 is a brand new return of the hang climb. So competitors will swing on a rope to the underside of the hang climb, and then you climb up as you saw in Shin Sasuke. And then, once you get up here, you hit a rest bar, and you get ready for 3-6. 3-6 is the vertical limit Danza. So, we have the cliffhanger, the cliffhanger Kai right here. However, I would call this vertical limit Danza because we already had a vertical limit Kai. So you would start out with the first ledge of the vertical limit being like this first ledge, and then you would go up to the second one, shimmy across that, and then you go down for the third one. And now, 3-7, this is the final obstacle. But what would I put here? Simple, one of my favorite NEW obstacles. The falling shells. You just go on a rest platform, you grab onto the first one, and you swing across, each one getting more suspenseful than the last, and then you have to nail that blind grab at the end if you want to clear stage 3 and move on to the final stage. Now, this is my stage 3. I do not have a final planned out because obviously I don't know what they're going to plan for a final. If/when/once Yusuke wins a third time with the speed climb, Salmon Ladder Jukodan, and the Tsunabori. So that's what I have for you guys. Maybe post in the comments what your dream renewal will be. This has been King Evan 15, aka Mr. Mario Kart, and I am